Hello. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are looking at a new subreddit called Am I Wrong? So we're gonna head straight into it. Am I the a-hole for hiding half my house from my family? I have autism and ADHD. My standards are very different from everyone around me. My family is mostly average, but they have sentiments that are common among our generation. I grew up irritated by hearing the same comments. Smile, don't flap, don't make weird foods, hug people, go outside every day, and so on. Since I was a teenager, I fantasized about having my own place where I could be myself. Thankfully, my parents said I could stay with them until I saved up enough for a property. I became obsessed with DIY shows and influencers. I saw a TikTok about hidden entrances and got struck by a wild idea. What if I bought a house that looked like a simple bungalow, but had a secret basement floor? When my family visited, they would see that I lived quote-unquote normally. Once they were gone, I could go downward to my proper quarters and live my best life. After 4 years, I finally saved enough and found the perfect location. I didn't have the budget for an elaborate hidden entrance. I could afford a bookshelf door that concealed the stair entrance. The upstairs is the quote-unquote normal floor, a standard kitchen that opens into a living room, a small office, and a bedroom with an ensuite. Meanwhile, my quote fun floor has a minimalist design as I like it that way. White walls with no photos as I find faces staring at you creepy, no carpet so I don't have to vacuum, a deep freezer so I can microwave meals and eat from the packaging, a bare blanket and mattress on the floor, a gaming room with merchandise stacked up and lighting options. After a year, my family started to notice how unused the whole house seemed. I let dust build up upstairs. The kitchen barely had any food. I never moved around my bed sheets or toothbrushes. Eventually, my dad figured out the bookshelf was a secret door. Now my family is badgering me about why I trust them so little and why any of this was necessary. They keep asking to see downstairs, but I keep it locked. They are getting suspicious, but I just tell them it's minimalist, and they judge me as a slob anyway. TLDR, my family constantly shut down my autism and ADHD traits. So when I bought a bungalow with a basement, I hid the basement with a bookshelf door and designed it to suit my needs. After a year, my dad discovered the door. Now my family is demanding to see the basement and accusing me of not trusting them. I'm refusing because I know they'll judge me for how I live. Update. I read everyone's comments and realized how suspicious a locked basement looked. So I did a video call to give them a tour and assure them I'm not a serial killer. My dad kind of shook his head and said I could do more research into minimalist design. My brother joked it looked like a crack den, but got excited at my wall of plushies. So I feel like I can still invite him over if he wants. My mom called me after and said she was worried about my health. I insisted that I had a system, but she asked to stay with me a while to get affairs in order. I said that I was overhauling my house to make it autism friendly as possible, regardless of whether it's guest friendly. My mom said she didn't understand how white walls had anything to do with autism. I told my mom I would send her online resources via text, but she said I shouldn't believe every online. My depressed state has been normalized. I was getting pissed at this point. I said that if she had such an issue with my house, we could meet at restaurants from now on. I hung up and now I'm browsing note room ideas on Google. Again, I am not on the spectrum, so I can't make a comment, but I do want to state that, again, you are a full-fledged adult. You have bought your place. And while they may be your parents, I don't think they have a right to anything you do from this point with your own house, with your own property. Honestly, I was going to say you don't even have to show them you're downstairs, but I guess comments brought up how that could be very suspicious. And I guess that is better that you showed them. Maybe they would have called like police if it ever got to a certain point. I don't know. But, I'd say protect your peace. It sounds like you spend your whole life being misunderstood. You're grown now, and she's still not willing to do her own research about autism. and anything to help you. So I don't think you need to extend yourself any further. Yeah, honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, that sounds so cool to have a place where you have like a little secret entrance. I would love having that like behind like a bookshelf or something. That sounds so cool. But yeah, go off. I hope you're living your best life. Let's look at some comments. Oh yeah, I didn't even think about the mattress. I forgot about that. Comment says I suggest keeping the mattress off the floor, cold, damp, and could cause mold. You can find cheap low platform beds that allow for airflow under the mattress. Yeah. If you really want something on the floor, then look at the Japanese methods for it with futons and their sleep systems. They do an interesting insulation thing under their bed. Also, I didn't want to say anything. I was like, I feel like you still have to sweep and or vacuum or even mop despite not having, carpet. This comment says also no carpets does not equal no vacuuming. No carpets doesn't prevent you or others from tracking in dirt or prevent crumbs. OP may not use the upstairs themselves, but it doesn't mean that if a guest leaves some crumbs, then those things are sitting up there for weeks. I'm assuming based on how OP describes her alone time. Yeah, I would consider still the occasional sweep or mop. Maybe if you can invest in one of those like little Roombas so you don't have to like do it yourself or worry about it outside of a set and certain schedule. Yeah, you're not wrong. You can live wherever and however you want. It's your house, so your rules apply. If you're not comfortable sharing all the property with them, then that's fine. If they keep badgering you, just stop inviting them to your upstairs property. I agree, but I struggle with a family member's choice to hoard to the point that it's hazardous. Live however you want in your house or rules and keep injuring yourself because you can't even walk through your place. I guess that is a bit of an extreme example, but it is so possible. Like, I'm sure their minds were running wild when they realized that she was hiding a hole downstairs of her property. They could have thought that, yeah, you're hiding something illegal, or maybe it's super dirty. Maybe you're a serial killer. But yeah, it doesn't sound like she's a hoarder. I don't think that's necessarily going to be a problem, but there are certain things where you'll have to change, like the mattress and the sweeping occasionally. NTA, and they'll only criticize you if you show them your daily part of the house. Keep it hidden. Tell them you won't like that part, but I love it. It's my house. My opinion on it is relevant. Yours is not. I hope they're living their best life. I hope they don't really concede. I feel like if they do let their mothers stay at their place, if they work, I'm assuming they work, they're going to come home and their house is going to be completely changed. She's going to paint your walls or like add wallpaper or paintings or change your space entirely. I would be careful about that. But yeah, anyway, hope she's he. I don't think they said. I'll just say they. I hope they are living their best life. Okay, next one. Am I the a-hole for making my wife choose between me and her quote-unquote phone husband, the AI app she talks to for hours a day? Ooh. All I'm going to say bluntly before I continue is I'm pretty heavily against AI in the way it's being used now. And on this topic specifically, I do think there is an epidemic of lonely people and people that want to be seen and heard and validated running to AI because it's going to do all of those things. And I think that's a whole nother issue with like society and how and mental health and It's such a deep conversation. Okay, sorry. Let's get into it. Okay. This sounds insane even as I'm typing it, but here we go. My wife, 32F, has gotten way too attached to this AI companion app on her phone. Like, cartoonishly attached. She started using it a few months ago, quote unquote, just for fun. You know, like how people download those chat apps when they're bored. At first it was harmless, then it turned into, oh, he's actually funny, lol. Then it turned into her talking to it every night, and now generally she talks to this AI more than she talks to me. I'll be sitting on the couch next to her and she's giggling at her phone like it's texting her pickup lines. I'll ask, what's so funny? And she'll go, oh, it's nothing. It's just him. Him. Not the app, not the bot. Him. So finally one night I asked, babe, why are you always on that app? And she goes, completely straight face, because he gets me. He listens. Ma'am, it's code. It listens because it literally has to. Anyway, a week ago, I checked her screen time and it's 6 hours talking to her AI companion. Meanwhile, we barely have any actual conversations unless I initiate them. Then, and this is where I snap, she starts calling it her phone husband, like jokingly at first, I think. And then she started saying it more seriously, like my phone husband would never forget to compliment me. I honestly felt my soul pack its bags. So yesterday, I finally confronted her and said, I'm not competing with a chatbot. You need to choose either you cut this down to normal levels or I'm out. Not delete it forever or never use it again. Just stop forming an emotional relationship with a digital boyfriend. She freaked out, cried, and said I was controlling and threatened by technology. Threatened? Bro, I'm losing my actual wife to something with no body, no soul, no bedtime. She told her friends and now they're calling me insecure and that AI commands are basically the new journaling. If journaling was flirting back and sending you long paragraphs how beautiful you are, I don't know, maybe I'm overreacting. But I seriously feel like I'm being third-wheeled by an algorithm. Edit. Okay, wow. Didn't think this would blow up. Thanks for all the sanity checks because I genuinely thought I was losing it. A lot of you pointed out it's not really good about the AI. Dude, it's the fact we haven't actually been connecting for a while. Well, fair enough. A few people also mentioned few tools like Force to control screen time, and another that stood out to me was Jolt screen time. Thing straight up humbled me. The way it locks your apps when you say you're done is borderline disrespectful, but also what I kind of needed. We talked. After I read through the comments, she's cutting back, and I've retired my dramatic "it's him or me" line, feeling slightly less delusional now. I guess that there's a little update there that, you know, they're going to work through it. But again, I still think it's a deeper conversation where, again, people want to be seen, heard, validated. And I don't know about any other country, but here in America, it's not necessarily the easiest thing to get things like therapy and thus an extension rather, medication if you need it, because sometimes having a therapist that you do, and don't get me wrong, I do think there are good therapists and bad therapists. I do think there are therapists that will not understand your life perspective based on things like, you know, culture or race to a certain extent. I do think that there are just certain people that you may not vibe with or be comfortable enough to talk to them honestly. And it's something you should do, especially if you're paying money for it. Right? But I'm glad she is going to try cutting back. And I'm glad you guys seemingly are going to try to work on it, because my knee-jerk reaction would have been like, yeah, she did check out of the relationship, the marriage. She needs validation from, again, this app, this thing that doesn't truly exist, this thing that resets every what. Like, again, I don't use AI like that, but I heard it like resets every now and then. or you have to reset it, something like that. Let's look at some comments. You're not wrong at all. She's checked out of the marriage. But OP maybe needs to ask why. Why doesn't he get her? Why does she feel like he doesn't listen to her? The issue isn't the chatbot. Chatbots are also constructed to be addictive. They tell you what you want to hear, even if it's unhealthy for you. Of course, people want to be told what they want to hear. People don't want to be challenged on their beliefs or challenged to improve. They want an echo chamber that tells them what they think or do is okay. It isn't. Again, that's very true. I think, again, you do deserve to be heard, but if, say, you are wrong, or if, maybe you're just confronted with someone with a differing opinion than you, then it is okay to be challenged. You should, so it can, broaden your perspective, right? My experience with ChatGPT recently has been pretty positive, and I've been using it to talk about a recent breakup. It's giving me the same advice my therapist gave me. So it's not telling me to try to get back with him. It's been telling me to move on and how to heal with suggestions and routines. Like with anything, it can be taken to a dark place. Again, my own personal opinion, and at the end of the day, you can do what you want with your life. I still don't find this healthy. You do, in this particular comment, it's like, would you not have gotten the same outcome from, again, posting online about it, or just searching up about something in a similar, someone who's gone through something similar? Everyone's gone through a breakup, right? And man, I recently just bought a book about how to get over your partner, because I feel like that's much more productive, is reading from personal experience or specifically asking for help. I don't think it's good to rely on this bot. I don't know, man. Oh man. Okay. This post could be about my best friend. She's obsessed with one of the apps and talks about her AI boyfriend so much it annoys the fuck out of her husband. She also modded it after a character on Yellowstone, not sure who, I don't watch, so she talks as if it's a real person. It's definitely tearing their marriage apart because she spends more talking to AI than her husband. She claims the AI treats her better. Yeah, because it's programmed to. Okay, but again, don't think AI is good. Don't think it's a good thing to rely on. But again, it is someone wanting to be seen and validated. And it sounds like, again, I don't know the relationship, but I would hope that she had at least tried to talk to her partner about her issues. And the only reason she is going to AI is because she's tried so much, she's too tired to try anymore. Again, doesn't make it right, but I could still kind of understand there, where you feel like you have no other option. And it is pretty sad that this is immediately a thing. It does make me question what the relationships looked like before. Whether people may have truly been in need of some kind of kindness, even if it's coming from an app. Or if their partners are truly that's just indifferent to them when they speak, that it's more validating to talk to AI. Just depressing, TBH. I think it's a bit of both. I don't doubt that, again, a lot of people don't feel seen and heard, but it's also this AI that's probably telling them everything they want to hear. And again, I don't use it, but I've heard some of the actual companion apps also will, obviously these companies want you to stay on the app. So they'll do things like, send you little messages or say, hey, come back, or check on how you're doing every couple hours, so they can get you back on the platform. Again, predatory, but what company doesn't send you notifications, right? But this one's playing into this emotional bond that these people are developing with it. I don't know. Personally, I want this AI bubble to pop. I don't think it will anytime soon, but it's ruining a lot. It's muddying a lot of waters. And again, you are welcome to disagree with me. Yeah. That's a lot. I do wish them the best, though. I hope they're able to genuinely figure it out. Good luck to OP and his wife. All right. Third and final one. Is this not sick behavior? Okay, that is to the point. Looks short as well. My partner works for a police force. God. They told me a story about how they had a criminal in the back of their vehicle and they arrived at a jail. I guess it was busy and the guards couldn't take the criminal in at this point. The criminal started swearing, yelling, and becoming agitated about her medications that she needed. She was pleading that the officer, my partner, go into the prison and get the guards to come get her and take her to her meds. The partner continued to ignore her, the criminal, and then thought it was a great idea to say, hey, you know, if you just ask nicely, maybe I'll do it for you. So the criminal says, fine, please, can you talk to the guards? My partner laughs in her face and says, nope. Bro, what? What kind of behavior is this? I'm sorry, but I find this so disgusting. Criminal or not, this is a human. Where is the compassion? Okay, blanket statement. Your partner is an a-hole. I don't know this woman's crime, but regardless, he seems like he has a is it a he? I'll just say your partner. It seems like your partner has a power superiority complex. It seems like that is the only thing they can rely on. They're using their power to the fullest extent to be cruel. Because again, I don't what if she had like a serious medical condition? Like what? That is so weird to do. There are certain fields I don't think people should be in, particularly pertaining to like, well, okay, especially pertaining to like healthcare. But again, if you are in positions of power where in any point, if there's a life in your hands, I also don't think you should be in that field. So like police work, firefighting, like you could argue, yes, you are risking your life in these jobs, but at the same time, it's also like a job that needs a amount of humanity, of kindness. And it seems like there's been multiple, like, don't get me wrong, bad people are just bad, but I feel like there's a large amount of people that kind of get desensitized, probably what they do see in the day and day. And they think lesser than if a person commits a crime, petty or not. And that dehumanizes them. Even though it, again, I don't think petty crime deserves dehumanization. I just need more kindness in this world, man. It's just an unkind world now. Let's look at some comments. Your partner is an asshole with a superiority complex. What if it was a serious medical issue? I don't think you'd be overacting to leave. OP said we're already divorcing. Okay, I'm gonna assume that attitude extended to other aspects of his life. Good on you for divorcing. This comment says, this reminds me of a woman who was left in an officer's vehicle on a train track. All officers let her be hit by the train? What? There's an article about, hold on. We're gonna go on a side quest. EBTX3. It's in Texas? Okay. Woman hit by a train while detained in police car awarded multi-million-dollar settlement? Oh, there's a video. I might have to blur this. Oh my God. Oh my God. They deserve to lose their job. What is that? Okay, I'm gonna blur that, but if I do show the video, I'm blurring it. It straight up gets rammed. Oh my God. Weld County, Colorado? I don't know. Oh yeah, Colorado. A Colorado woman was cuffed in the back of a police car when it was hit by a train, has been awarded an $8 million settlement. KKTV reported in September 2022. Yarny Rios Gonzalez, was pulled over in Weld County for suspected road rage involving a gun. According to the Colorado Bureau of Investigation at the time, the alleged road rage incident happened in Fort Lupton, and Rios Gonzalez was found up the road in Platteville at Highway 85 and County Road 36. A Platteville officer pulled Rios Gonzalez over, and CBI says she stopped just past railroad tracks. The officer parked behind her was also on the tracks. Two Fort Lupton officers then showed up, detained her, cuffed her, and put her in the back of the Platteville police cruiser, which was still sitting on the tracks. While the officers cleared the suspect vehicle as part of the investigation, a train traveling about northbound struck the PPD patrol car, CBI said. Body camera footage released days afterwards showed the train barreling towards the cruisers as Rios Gonzalez sat inside, unable to escape. The sound of the train horn can be heard just over a minute after Rios was put into the car. Then more horns blare. After those horns go off, the footage appears to show the officers realizing their suspect was in the path of the oncoming train. They were unable to reach her in time, and the vehicle was crushed. She survived with numerous broken bones and a skull fracture. Two of the officers were criminally charged and convicted of misdemeanors and have since lost their jobs. It was announced on Wednesday, 2024, that they were awarded an $8 million settlement. I'm surprised that's not attempted murder. Okay, I don't know how the law works, okay? But they left that woman in there on the tracks and she literally gets hit. She is extremely lucky to be alive. What? And they... Misdemeanors. What? I'm glad she got a settlement. I can only imagine the pain she's been through. That is insane. Oh my God. Okay, sorry, that was a little side quest, but that story sounded so insane I had to look at it. Let's look at some more comments. Oh, actually, I see someone talking about the situation we just read. They didn't, quote unquote, let her get hit. They hadn't realized the vehicle was on the track and that a train was coming. When they realized, they started running toward the vehicle but couldn't get there in time. While the woman was well within her rights to, I thought she died, but I was stunned when I saw the video. The cops were pretty damn traumatized too. Maybe I'm too harsh, but what do you mean? Maybe the cops were traumatized. What? Why did they leave the car on the train tracks? That is not something, again, a person in power should do. A person in power that has that much power over the average civilian should have enough awareness to know that, hey, yeah, we're currently parked on some train tracks. Let me move my car. What are you talking about? That is that is dumb. That is careless. What are you talking about? Oh, let's blame the victim. Okay, maybe you're not technically blaming the victim, but it's weird. That's so weird. Sorry. The comment also said, Opie's partner is a tool. Maybe the ones who were involved in the train incident were tools too, but let's keep it accurate. Okay, whatever. That added nothing. Moving on. A comment under that said, it's accurate, they parked the vehicle and left it there. It never needed to be there. Take your own advice. Okay, yes, it shouldn't have been there. I've seen the video start to finish. They actively parked their cruiser over the train tracks and put a person in the car. They should have never left her in the car on the train tracks. Abject stupidity. Yes. Okay, sorry. Little side quest again. I just saw a comment, had to read it. Okay. It's disgusting. I'm not proud of it. I've been arrested a few times, been to prison twice. Here in Australia, when you're arrested, they typically take you to the local police station, interview you, and hold you in a cell till you get bail or go into remand prisons, depending on your history charges. So every single time this has happened to me, the police put me in the back of the van, cuffed in the back of the paddy wagon. I barely breathe. The ventilation is next to nothing. Every time they'll drive into the police station garage park, turn the car off, get out, and F around for sometimes hours. I remember one time it was so hot I was withdrawing from heroin and they just kept laughing at me. I was begging them to let me out and they would mock my voice. Sometimes I would walk to the back of the paddy wagon, touch all the locks, so to me it sounds like they're letting me out, but then walk off and laugh. It was so degrading and terrifying. You grow up thinking these guys are meant to protect you, but as soon as it's behind closed doors, they will treat you like a piece of dirt. I've been refused my methadone countless times, refused anti-psych meds, antidepressants, everything. It's a joke. I'm sorry, but your husband needs to stop this behavior now. I am so sorry. He doesn't even sound like he's done anything like terrible and was treated so awful. Like, no one deserves that. Like, that's torture. Like, yeah, good point. He makes a good point. Like, you do grow up thinking that police officers and military people and what have you are there to protect you. And I'm not going to say all of them are bad, but when those bad eggs do what they do, it does typically cost people lives. I don't know. And I am talking from a more like, I grew up as a military brat, essentially. I did grow up around military people. Just to put that in perspective. I hope you reported that the Royal Commission exposed a lot of this type of crap. Swim reported it. That's against what I believe on. Unfortunately, I will say, though, there's a police station in the eastern suburbs of Melbourne that hopefully will be getting exposed soon. So keep an eye out about that dodgy stuff going on. ACABs, you will be treated the same way by your quote-unquote partner when the time comes. That DV abuse rate tells you how it starts. You are not wrong. In cases of DV, this is absolutely how it starts. My grandfather and uncle were cops, spending a lot of time around them and their coworkers. There are two types of people who become cops. Idealists who eventually become cynics and usually end up not giving a rat's ass about anything. 2, guys who want an excuse to beat up other people and or shoot them with a gun. Neither will narc on each other because that's the bro code. So sad. I doubt it, but I hope OP's ex-husband changes his ways. But I'm glad OP's getting out of there. Again, it sounds like there were most likely deeper issues. Okay, I don't really have too much else to say. So I'm gonna leave it off here. Thanks again for watching. And I hope you enjoyed. Bye.